Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Eugene Chan. Our guest this evening is Mr. Kenneth Lam, the current Vice President of the Golf Association of Hong Kong, China. Mr. Lam is a past president of the association and was Hong Kong's golf team leader at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. He has also been chairing the Hong Kong Golf Club's Championship Committee since 2014, which is responsible for organizing all our top international events, including the upcoming Hong Kong Open, livgolf Hong Kong, the Aramco Team Series, which is why we have asked him to share with us on Hong Kong as an international golfing destination. Welcome again, Kenneth.
Thank you, Eugene. Thanks for having me.
Ken, you were on our show about 3 years ago in 2021, and just after you returned from leading our golf team at the Tokyo Olympics. Today we are at a very special golfing venue that you have kindly arranged for us. Maybe I'll let you to tell the viewers about where we are and why this place is so special.
Oh, thanks for being at the home of Hong Kong Open. We've been running the Hong Kong Open since 1959. And where we are overlooking the 18th green and the fairway of the championship. A lot of drama has taken place right here because it is a very challenging hole. For example, one of the most popular champion and golfer, Miguel Jimenez, has said that this is the best finishing hole in golf as a very experienced professional.
Right. Why is it very challenging?
So you can see there's a very narrow fairway, so you need to hit a good first tee shot. So depending on the risk level you want to take, it can be shorter or longer. And of course, if you hit it longer and straight, then you'll have an easier shot to the green. And on the championship Sunday, we usually have the pin tucked right behind me on the front right of the green. So you will be rewarded, you can be rewarded for a good shot, but any errors could be it could be in the bunker or it could roll in the water.
Really?
Yes.
You also told me earlier before we start the show that this course is very special, that the same Open has been running here for quite some time.
Yes, it has been since 1959. As a matter of fact, we've been doing this for more than 60 years, every year consecutively. And according to the record that we've seen, it's only us and the Masters at the Augusta National would have this distinction of having the same professional event at the same venue for over 60 years. For example, the say US Open, British Open, they can have it every year, but they would take place at different courses.
Right, so why is this Hong Kong Open such a special event on our Hong Kong golfing calendar?
It is the history and the tradition. I think it also says a lot about our commitment and our love of golf, and we would love to use golf to promote Hong Kong and to promote sports in general.
Ken, since you have been the chairman of the club's championship committee since 2014, what other international events has been held at this golf course?
Well, you have mentioned that for the livgolf coming to the Hong Kong, which is a very significant international event, they have chosen to host it here. We also, on the ladies' side, the Aramco Team Series, we also have our own Hong Kong Ladies Open, but that's only on the professional side. But more importantly, over the years, we also host a lot of events on the amateur side, including some of the biggest amateur tournaments in the world. For example, the World Amateur Team Championship that would involve basically all countries around the world to come here.
Right, Ken, since you mentioned all those big names events, especially livgolf last year, it has attracted a lot of attention. Why did they choose the Fanling as the venue? I understand there are other golf courses in Hong Kong as well. Why in particular Fanling?
Well, to answer that, maybe a follow-up, on what you have mentioned. We are about, to host the national game golf event, for the GBA edition 2025, here as well. It's chosen to be the venue because we have the experience in doing so. But really, frankly, in terms of the people behind it, we just have a lot of heritage history and a lot of ambition, commitment to run good golfing events. And we want to use golf to promote sports, and we want to use golf to promote Hong Kong.
Yeah, when you want to promote Hong Kong, I mean, like Live Hong Kong, it's different to normal golf events. It's got sort of an entertainment section, a family section, etc., etc. So is that the reason why they need such a big venue? Because in Hong Kong we have other, like Gao Sai Chow, we have the golf course at Seco, we have one at Clearwater Bay and one in Lantau Island. Why can't they have those events over there as well?
Well, I would think because firstly, because of the experience, and I also want to emphasize that, in Hong Kong we are very thankful towards, all the stakeholders allowing us to use their premises, including Clearwater Bay, Discovery Bay, Gao Sai Chow, and Shekou. But there are all kinds of different reasons in terms of logistics. Again, in terms of the experience, of hosting events. That's why this place is chosen. And if I may say, you mentioned the innovation of livgolf, which I think is something very good for the golf scene as a whole, as it brings different elements. Mm-hmm. But it is the same kind of mentality that we would like to seek improvements. For example, for this year's edition of the Hong Kong Open, because we have a new title sponsor, Link, that has interest in all the 18 districts in Hong Kong. So for this year, every hole we would be every hole in tournaments, 18 holes, would be named after a district in Hong Kong. Images of the district will be the showcase in every hole and will be showcased around the world.
Well, there's a very good, sort of a good start to promote Hong Kong for the 18 districts. Happen to be 18 holes as well.
Well, if I may, it's actually the event is broadcasted to the 130 countries and regions, and the viewership is 650 million people, and it's over 4 days, and a lot of times it's live.
Right.
So we are basically, showing the best of Hong Kong, to the rest of the world consistently.
Right. I'm sure that when the Hong Kong Open is on the coming weekend, I'm sure you want people to come and watch it. How easy is it for people to access Fanling as compared to Gao Sai Chow or even Clearwater Bay?
Well, I think you would know the answer. For example, the two venues that you mentioned, probably ferries would be the best access to the courses. Each day we have about 15,000 spectators, especially on the weekends. So you can imagine that the traffic and the logistics support is very demanding and important, and we have to take into account safety measures as well.
Also, you have spectators walking along the course as well. So that makes Fanling a sort of an obvious choice for Hong Kong, isn't it? As compared to other cities in the world, does Hong Kong have enough golf courses?
Well, if I may, we have about 7.5 million people, and we have, frankly, less than 10, 18-hole golf courses, and we do a lot. And by way of a quick comparison, for example, our neighbor Singapore, which also have a lot of ambition, they have less people, about 4.55 million people. They have 20 courses. And let me give you an extreme example. Ireland, Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland combined, also about 7 million population. They have more than 400 golf courses.
400?
Yes.
Well, so Hong Kong has done very well given the so few number of courses we have, because we know that we have a female golfer, Tiffany Chan, has been to Olympics twice, and another youngster, Tachiko, has done pretty well. So given the relatively few number of golf courses and also our population, will you say we have done very well?
Well, I think we have done quite well together with a lot of the initiatives, the promotions by the government, along the way. It's a good example of public and private, partnership. So from the youth development to cultivating our athletes to staging international tournaments. To be quite honest, wherever we go, the world international golfing community hold us in high regards.
Right. one question before we go to the break. Are we seeing any growing numbers of people participating or joining golf as a game?
On a worldwide basis, the numbers are growing. It is one of the most, top 10 most popular sports being watched or being played, and is still growing. And in Hong Kong, I think we are limited a little bit by the facilities, driving ranges, as well as golf courses. But if we have more assets, I'm very sure that the game will grow.
Right, let's take a break now, but viewers, stay with us. We will be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Mr. Kenneth Lam from the Golf Association of Hong Kong, China, is our guest this evening, and we have been talking about Hong Kong as an international golf destination. So Ken, you have explained to us why the Fanling Golf Course is sort of special and how important the Hong Kong Open is, especially as sort of attracting international players coming to play here over the last 60 years. Let's move on to Hong Kong in general. We know that the government has spent $7.9 billion on sports development in this year 2024 to 2025, more than double compared to a decade ago. How would you see that helping the development of sports in Hong Kong?
Well, this is very encouraging. The government has all along, at least for the past 10 years, firmly has the policy of popularizing sports, cultivating our international players, and staging international events. And lately, there are two additional directives of professionalizing the sport and also the industrializing and commercializing, meaning, to bring the private sector even closer to supporting the golf. Those things are very important, both from the financial aspect of things and also accumulating the resources to put things together.
Right. I've also read that out of the $7.9 billion, about $941 million will be allocated to the Hong Kong Institute of Sports. From the golfing perspective, how is that paying off, that amount of money paying to Institute in terms of training our athletes? Do you think that's the right direction?
It's very important that we have the necessary resources, but if you think about it, 900 and something million for the quite a number of sports under the Sports Institute. It still requires a lot of efforts from the private sector to work together. For golf, we are tremendously grateful that we are going to be included as a Tier A sport in the next cycle, owing to the results that we have achieved. And those are benchmarks set by the Sports Institute in allocating resources. This is very important because we will be exposed to more the support, not only directly for the tournaments, golfers, on a day-to-day basis, but also the training, the sports science supports, the psychological part, and just opening up to the more support and resources.
Right, I think by listening to you, I want to make this comment to you, because of all the resources by the government, especially and also from the private sector. I'm sure the golfing society community also do a lot of work. Out of this sort of 7.5 million population with so few golf courses, we've done so well now, and even included in the national games. So we should be very proud, shouldn't we?
Oh, absolutely, we should be very proud, and I think it's also the part of the reason why when we stage tournaments like this, we can find people to sponsor us. And for example, the Hong Kong Open, we have started with the Hong Kong Golf Club as the underwriter of the events. And by the way, tournament like this, would require something like $15 million Hong Kong, to stage. And it's even more, for livgolf, but we don't have to underwrite the bill. But on top of that, for example, we need commercial sponsorships, and this year we have the commercial sponsor signing up to a multi-year contract. So it's very encouraging that we have more private sector involvement.
Right. If that being the case, that means there'll be a lot of corporate sponsorship and that means a lot of sort of telecast coverage by different countries. We'll be able to see Hong Kong as a golfing destination.
Absolutely, and our TV coverage is very important to us. And of course, each of our sponsors would also use their best endeavors to promote the Hong Kong golf, Hong Kong, together with the brand.
Mm-hmm. So let's move even further back now. I mean, Hong Kong has done very well recently in the Olympics, even Asian Games. However, I'm sure you being a parent yourself, you've got kids, people still treat academic results as very important as compared to the sporting achievements. What would you say to the parents?
Well, firstly, Eugene, I think the attitude has changed. And I think parents now all want to cultivate their children as global citizens. And sports is culture. Those are very important aspects. And for golf, parents actually love the sport. We actually, before kids can get on the course, they will have to learn the proper etiquette, safety measures, and a lot of discipline. And this goes hand in hand, in how they should achieve their academic career, as well as their approach, in life. Mm-hmm. We actually have a lot of good feedbacks, from the parents, in terms of how golf can cultivate the kids, in line, especially, with our Chinese culture.
Right. Since you are definitely a promoter of golf, since you're on the show, and we have government officials watching us all the time, what will be your suggestions to the Hong Kong government that will be sort of a very efficient, but having a very high KPI in terms of promoting Hong Kong as a golf hub, or actually a sport hub?
Well, obviously, we have to look at the numbers, of how the outreach is, and how many more local golfers, that we cultivate. But I would urge the government to work even harder with us to build the golfing pyramid that I call, to have a wider base of participations. So with a wider base of participations, then we have a better chance of getting out top athletes and better chance of staging top tournaments.
Right. So Ken, I mean, amongst our viewers, we've got people of different background, and I'm sure some of them will say to us, golf is often seen as an elite sport. And when we had Andy Kwok here also last year, he told us we have over 100,000 golfers in Hong Kong. So what have your association or the club done in terms of increasing the base or increasing exposure so that more people will be able to enjoy this game?
Eugene, I briefly mentioned that we are sometimes limited by the hardware that we have. So it's a challenge to grow the game. So to grow the game, I think we have to work even harder within GBA so that we have more access to the courses and driving ranges. I firmly believe that there is a lot of interest in Hong Kong. I think getting the private sector involved is important. And maybe one suggestion is to say that it's not only for the golf, but I would urge the governments to consider giving tax breaks, just like the tax breaks, the tax deduction that we have for the charitable donations. If those sponsorships are going into the qualified events or tournaments or programs, the private sector sponsoring should also receive some incentives. So in this way, I think the private-public cooperation will grow and will put us even more firmly on the world map.
Right. Ken, since you have done so much for the golfing scene, I think you're the best person to answer me this last question I'm going to bring up. Hong Kong's golf has gone a long way until today. We even have the Live Hong Kong here. We've got people playing the Olympics. What will be your future aspiration of the golfing scene in Hong Kong if everything goes with your wish? But keep in mind, we've got other neighboring cities like Singapore or other ASEAN countries. They're also eyeing on this big project of golf. What would you do?
Well, thanks for the question. As it's really encouraging. 10 years ago, we are probably just say the frequent participants in the tournaments, international events. And now, for example, the Tai Chi won the Asian game individually, and the team won bronze. Recently, in the World University Championship, we won bronze as well. On the ladies' side, our players are winning some significant regional tournaments, as well as going to the US, winning some of the equivalent to the World Junior Championships. Those are all very encouraging, and I hope that this is going to cultivate our next generations of winners, champions for national games, for the Asian Games, and also for the Olympics.
Yeah, recently we have a Chinese player winning Olympics gold in the Ladies Open. We have Zhang Gaolong winning fencing and Vivian Kong also in fencing. Do you envisage one day that we have a golfing champion coming from Hong Kong?
Yes, for sure. And just to give some references, for the last three Olympics on the ladies' side, Feng Shanshan won bronze in Rio, and Janet Lin Siyu just won in the Olympics, a bronze medal. And they are both Guangdong natives. And they have also been playing at Fanling in Hong Kong for many years before they turned professional, in a very good collaboration between Guangdong and Hong Kong. So it has shown that within this region, we have the talents.
Thank you, Kenneth. I'm wishing you all the best to your golfing profession. With world-class facilities, government support, and iconic events like the Hong Kong Open, our city is indeed well positioned to be an international golfing destination. Thank you for joining us, and have a great evening.